What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be discussing the box office for this weekend. This weekend saw Beetlejuice debut in theaters to a lot of records broken. Beetlejuice scares up $110 million in second best September debut in history. That's right, Beetlejuice just became the second biggest domestic opening weekend of any film to ever open in September in box office history, which is just absolutely mind-blowing and incredible for this film. Me and my dad saw this film. We have a review for it here on the channel. It's an absolute blast. Go see it. Go see the review too. So this is just absolutely incredible for this film. Now, I had this film opening at about 120 to 125 is kind of where I had it in my mind, thinking that it could get that high and possibly being the number one biggest September opening in history. As the weekend got closer, I was kind of more leaning towards even 130. But what was great about this opening is its Friday numbers came in and the projections got a little bit scary. It's calling it at like 95 million, that it might not even break 100 million, which would have been fine. It's not like scary, but it could have been fine if it had opened that high. I mean, no one thought it would open that high 2 months ago, right? But with how the projections were going, 95 would have been very underwhelming. It would have been very low. But because it had an absolutely incredible Saturday, it ended up being able to climb up to 110 million for the weekend. Let's head over to the top 10 now. And, well, the actual numbers came out, and it's 111 million is actually where it is at. So Beetlejuice, 111 million. It's actually the biggest theatrical release of the year in terms of theaters. It opened in 4,575 theaters, which is the most of any film this year, and the most for Warner Bros. Of all time for their company. So that's incredible for them. Deadpool and Wolverine held 55%, which is a nice hold for it. It made $7 million. It's up to $613 million now domestically, so it continues to just go bigger and bigger and bigger. Reagan got $4.8 million this weekend, down just 37%, with that's an incredible hold for Reagan. It's up to $18.1 million this weekend. Alien Romulus dropped 57%, and it made $3.9 million. It is now at $97.2 million, and it will most likely cross $100 million by next weekend. Domestically. It Ends With Us dropped 50%, and it's at 3.7 million for this weekend, and $141 million total for the weekend, or for the whole domestic run. Coming in at number 6, we have The Forge, $3 million, dropped 35%. It's an incredible hold by The Forge. It's up to $20 million. Coming in at number 7, Twisters, $2.1 million. It dropped 72%, which is a pretty hard drop for that film. But again, when a big film like Beetlejuice comes out, you're going to see drops like that, especially nearing the bottom of the top, the bottom of the top 10. Sorry. Blink Twice, $2 million, down 57%. That film is up to 20%, $20 million. Domestically on its run. Despicable Me 4 added another $1.8 million, down 55%. That film is up to a massive $357 million domestically. And then a new one, The Front Room, coming in at number 10 at $1.6 million. This thing flopped really hard. Like, really hard. This thing was a disaster at the box office. They were projecting this thing to come in at about 5 million. Earlier projections had this thing going up to 8 million. Then as the weekend got closer, it was 5 million, and then it only made 1.6 million. Horrible opening for it. I think that's terrible. That's a terrible opening, and the scores don't help because the scores are also really bad on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, that is your top 10 for the weekend so far. And Beetlejuice was able to make, I believe, another $35 million, $36 million overseas. It's up to $147 million worldwide. Other big news on the worldwide charts is Inside Out 2 has officially passed, see right here, has officially passed Jurassic World to become the 8th biggest theatrical film in Hollywood history. So that's incredible. That's where it's going to stop. It's not going to be able to climb to number 7. It's not going to be able to get to that $1.9 billion mark. Um, it it might be able to get to 1.7 if it keeps chugging along. It may be able to get to 1.7, but it would be pretty difficult for it to get to 1.7. It's going to be tough. We'll just have to wait and see how that goes. Despicable Me 4 is now up to $930 million worldwide, which I'd never thought this film was going to be able to creep up to that mark. I thought that it was probably it was going to be a struggle for this thing to get to 900 million, let alone cross it this easily and this quietly. Like, it's very quietly crossed the $900 million mark. It's all the way up to 930 now. Obviously, this thing will not be able to get to a billion. I've heard some people say that it might. It will not get to a billion, but it's going to be pretty close. I would say that it max probably 960, 970, but then again, I said max 900 and it's up to 930, so we'll see. But I highly doubt it gets to a billion. Something else that I wanted to talk about was the year-to-date numbers. So if you come over here to the yearly box office, right, this is how much money that the domestic box office has made the entire year so far, $5.8 billion. Here are previous years. Obviously, these are previous years, the whole year. So it looks scary at first, but it's like, the whole year for 2023 versus like the first, 9 months, 9 months of the year for 2024. So if you go to the year-to-date comparison, and we look at where we were on, let's see here, we look at where we were on cumulative through May. So this is basically the box office of 2024, January to May, and then you've got all the way down to 2019, January to May. And if you look at that box office, we were 23%, almost 24% behind 2023 at the same time that last year. And then we were 4.1% behind 2022 and 42.6% behind pre-COVID 2019. Now, if we look at the year to date, after June, July, August, and now Beetlejuice in September, we have now closed the gap to minus 13.3% for 2023. We're now gaining on 2022. Now it's plus 9.1%. We're ahead of 2022, and we're closing in on 2019 as well. We're negative 26.6% behind that. We will not catch 2019, obviously, but 2023, I think we will definitely catch, because earlier in the year, a part of the reason why 2023 had such a big start versus 2024 is because 2024 was affected by the Hollywood strikes that happened last year, that affected the back half of 2023 and the front half of 2024. So the strikes, the effects of the strikes they've worn off for 2024, but for 2023, starting in September, that was when the strikes took effect on 2023. So 2023, from September to December, everything underperformed. 2023, just nothing really big came out. It was just a barren box office from September to December. And 2024 has a lot of really big films coming out in a completely loaded slate. So I could definitely see by the end of the year, 2024 ending up ahead of 2023 as the gap continues to close faster and faster because of the strikes. So yeah, let's look to next weekend. We have Speak No Evil and Killer's Game. Those are the big two wide releases coming out next weekend. I'm actually really excited for Speak No Evil. The trailers really intrigued me. I don't know why. I'm really excited for the film. It just looks really interesting. So waiting for a Rotten Tomatoes score on that, but that's going to be really cool. We're going to have a review up for that, I'm sure, soon. And I would say that film probably is going to open. I would love to see it open over 20 million, but I'm going to have to take it on the lower end. I'm going to say this thing is going to open around $17.3 million for the weekend. And Killer's Game, which I'm also excited to see, which we probably will have a review for, I'm expecting that thing to probably open around 5.6 million is kind of where I'm calling it at, both on the little bit of the lower end of the projections there. Well, anyway, that's it. If you guys like this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to support the channel, and comment down below if you think that 2024 can end up beating 2023 at the domestic box office.